1, 2, 3. Okay, during January, Brian, while you're sallooning around the ocean liner in the wild seas of the east or west, whichever way you're pointing.
It was very well too.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was great, yeah, except for the trip to the Barrier Reef where I had a bad day on the catamaran.
Oh, so we'll talk more about that later, will we?
We will.
Look, we had some good results in January, and I think the highlight of January would have been the fact that Dean Yandel rode all of our winners for the month.
Yeah, fantastic effort by Dean, and yeah, I think he's very happy highway down when he won, and then he went with Kryal, Taiyu and Sir Dylan.
Yeah, it was a great result, and Darren Weir, he's just been going super. 30 winners for January. He's a man who's definitely on fire with training these horses.
I think he put the pressure on him on ATB, I think about December, saying he couldn't get a winner for him. He's fired back, he's answered you.
Yeah, well, let's quickly run through those results. Happy Highway at Geelong, that was fantastic, a good win. She hasn't really handled the hot summer, so we've had to send her to the paddock.
Won't tell your story.
Sir Dylan went to Geelong for start 17, Brian, and got the money.
Yeah, and I think it's about $1.50, I think Phil Brooks got about $1.70 up there. Pretty brave man, we haven't a bet on Sir Dylan after like 16 starts and no wins, but I think Darren Weir's had four runs with the horse and finally got it to salute, so great effort, Darren.
Yeah, good result, and that horse runs this Sunday at Hamilton. And then we went down to Warrnambool, we had a double there with Taiyu and Clairvaux, both very, very good runs. Like Clairvaux back last and no speed on, didn't really suit the run on horses, but he just picked them up and put them away like a serious horse.
Certainly did. That's the value of having Dean Yandel riding your horses in the country, because you get them well placed. He's very patient and he just gets them out at the right time. Same with Clairvaux. Matty Williams took it to town and it got a bit lost down the straight. Took it back to Warrnambool and Dean sort of rode it back late in the field. And pretty good field that one too, with Ticket to Turak in it as well, who pulled a little bit. But yeah, Clairvaux flew home and good win.
And of course that day, Taiyu, back to his best. He won his first two starts, injured himself in the shoulder, brought him back, ran good fresh. Then his next two runs were poor. And to, Darren Weir's credit, he identified that he might have had some scar tissue in his chest from his injury. Sent him down to the beach, worked him on the dunes, freed it all up. And gee, he won like he's a horse going places.
He did. I believe he might have even beaten Prince of Penzance earlier in his career, is that right?
Well, if you were hiding up there at the hills of Darling Forest behind the trees, you might have noticed that. I don't think I can comment on that, Brian. But in all fairness, I think he's a pretty fair horse, Taiyu. And I guess the big news of January, and good and bad, was Jackalbury came back off an injury and he won for us first up at Wolverhampton. Passed his test to go to Dubai, but alas, 2 days later his tendon blew up and he's been retired to stud.
Yeah, it's disappointing for the owners, but it's probably a good result for the horse because no people pushing on when they started having tendon problems, and he resumed with a fantastic win, but probably lower class than he's been used to in recent times, but still had to do the job after 12 months off. A fantastic win for his owners and about out on a winning note. He's been a great horse. He's won about 1.5 mil.
2.5 million, he's won 1.5 for us, so he was the first of our real internationals, and he's going to have a special place in our hearts going forward, Jackalbury, so we're just working on a deal to get him to start now, and we've got to move on. But I guess looking forward, we had some other good results in January. I think Long Time ran well without winning. She might have just got a tongue over the bit. Jelly Baby first up was encouraging after a year off the scene. She's just a mare that we acquired last year to rehab and move on with. So we've had some good results through the month of January.
Well, I think Jelly Baby's racing on Friday night at Moonee Valley, so I think if it has a win, it'd be a pretty sweet result, Darren.
Yeah, I'm not sure she can win second up, but maybe third up. But well, let's go through the runners going forward now, and I guess we do start with Jelly Baby tomorrow night at the Valley, second up off a year's spell. Yeah, Darren Weir holds the key to it with that good horse Bloom, Full Bloom or First Bloom in there, and Jelly Baby will do well to run top 5.
Yeah, well, speed and staying job, it's going to need 3 or 4 runs to get to its probably optimum distance and optimum fitness, and as I say, off 12 months it's going to probably need 3 or 4 runs for sure. But
yeah, Mick Kent's done a good job with her, I feel. Then we go off to Darwin on Saturday night, our Romeo. Ready to win.
There wasn't much love with him last night, I don't think, but he had a few problems, didn't he, on the day?
Oh, I think the race was too short for him. We didn't expect him to win. He just might have had a little foot abscess going on there that he's over now, and back to 1300 on Saturday. I think you'll see our Romeo step out and run really well.
Yeah, Jason said he's been thriving up in Darwin.
On Sunday we're off to Hamilton to watch Sir Dylan go around. He's in a high weight. It's a 0 to 58. Look, I think he'll be hard to beat there, Brian, and then we might slip him down to Moonee Valley over a 3,000 metre race in a couple of weeks.
It's a great chance, Sir Dylan.
Yeah, Johnny Allen rides him in that high weight, and when Dean got off him at Geelong after he won, he was huffing and puffing. He said that was hard work. I said to him, Dean, in your prime you would have taken that in your stride. I can't repeat what he said after that. Harrowate on Tuesday, it's the stall meeting transfer. We've got 4 runners, and we've got change course in for Maddie Williams, second up. Her first up run was good at Charang last week and only got caught in the last bound.
Yeah, good effort. I appreciate the head out. It'll be hard to beat.
And then we've got Miss Adelaide, your horse, going to Harrowate. She was okay last start.
Yeah, she's in it all the way. I think she needed the run as well, so 2 runs this time in and should be hard to beat as well.
Yeah, she ran second there, and I think she'll nearly win here, and then we're going to experiment with her because we've done the analysis and we think she might be better suited over 1,1600 metres, and we'll just send her around and hopefully get the money on Tuesday. First up, Princess Hussey, coming off a long break. Went down and watched her trial last week at, where was I? Charang. And yeah, she trialled quite nicely, ridden by Michelle Payne. I think she goes there a good each way chance.
So you like her chances first up?
I think she's a great each way chance. And the other one first up would be Jen Y. She trialled okay. She's had a couple of runs, hasn't done a lot, but she's a good filly. And I think we just watch her go around on Tuesday.
Yeah, she's nice type by Jen on a name, and I think we probably need a few more runs before we see the best of her.
Yeah, and then we look at Geelong on Wednesday, where we expect Ticket to Toorak to be running down at Geelong. So that kind of wraps up those runners for the next week. I guess of interest, Tactor Boystrom looks like he's going first up at Linfield in the UK on a synthetic track over 2,000 metres on February 22nd as a warm-up and a test to see whether we take him to Dubai for the World Cup.
Well, I hope you take him to Dubai because Jacoby's not going, Dandino's not going, and I'm going. So
Yeah.
it'd be nice to have a horse to see over there, apart from the ones that aren't in ATB. But he's highly rated on the world stage now, Tactor Boystrom, after his good form last preparation. And you're going to see how he goes on a synthetic track because I know he likes the wet, doesn't he?
Well, they say it's got plenty of give in it, Brian, but I know you think that we mightn't have any runners in Dubai, but I might have news for you people out there. We might be announcing in the next week or two that we might have 2 new horses and they might be both going to Dubai.
That's great to hear, Darren. So next week, stay tuned for next week. Or what?
I'd say if you need to watch next week because I'll be announcing at least 1 new international that will be going on the market for sale. And so that people aren't disappointed, I'll be giving you the time and date that the email invitation will be going out for should you want to invest in our next international.
And that'll probably go on Twitter, Darren, will it?
That'll be going out on the website and by email.
All right, lovely. So if you want to get involved,
Watch ATB
watch ATB-TV next week.
And while we're on the internationals, Kaleni's travelled over to the UK and Marco Botti said he's reported that he's settled in very well, Brian. He's in good order and he'll have a couple of lead-up runs before Ascot. And once again, he'll be on a Caulfield Melbourne Cup path. Dandino's back in work after his big tour of the world, I guess, in the spring. And we're going to bypass Dubai because it's just come up too fast. He is reportedly working well, and we've got a special report, and I'll take you to that report now with Brian and Dandino's handler.
I'm here with Abby Johnson, and Paul Francis is back in England, so we need a new handler for Dandino, and here she is. So tell us how you got hold of Dandino, Abby.
Well, on the cruise that we went up to Cairns on, there was a thing that was called Pets at Sea, and you got to pick a puppet animal to stuff in the stuffing machine. And I picked this one because it looked exactly like Dandino.
Complete with the little white thing on his head and that, and a little bit of white, probably got too much white in his feet, but he's a ripping looking horse, isn't he? What made you buy him?
Because I wanted to buy him because he looked exactly like Dandino and I could go racing with him.
And what's your nickname for him?
The Black Reese.
All right, over and out here.
Other general news around the place. Chocolicious will be arriving at Manningtree Park next week, Brian, on Sunday morning at about 5 a.m. Are you going to be there to greet her?
Well, if you need me, Darren, I'll be there. But if you don't, just SMS and I'll come down when she's back at Manningtree Park. But I'm going to be excited to see her in Australia. Have like the little fold of Frankel, so it'll be a bit like a Frankelicious.
Yes, she's in fold of Frankel and she's arriving at the stud on Sunday, so we'll be very keen to get her off the truck and make sure she's in good order. Also next week we'll be announcing our autumn tipping competition and the sponsor, and of course the prize again, Brian, will be the Golden Slipper weekend. So 2 people will travel from a capital city somewhere in Australia to the Golden Slipper for the weekend, and we'll announce that sponsor next week.
That's going to be a fantastic meeting, Golden Slipper too. The Sydney Carnival's been changed quite a bit this season. Golden Slipper Day is a fantastic day all by itself, highlighted by the Golden Slipper, and hopefully we might have a horse in it. With a bit of luck.
Also, we've obviously purchased some yearlings at the Gold Coast back in January, and whilst the majority of those have been taken up, we do have 1 filly there with a few shares left. This filly will be trained on the Gold Coast by Trevor Bailey. She's by Rosset out of a elusive quality mare, and she is for the ladies only. So we're looking for lady owners only in this filly. I caught up and had a chat with Darren Dance from ATB about the Rosset filly. Filly by Roscoe out of an elusive quality mare. Roscoe, son of the almighty Fastnet Rock. Just a beautiful filly. Had a look at a lot of the Roscoes here at the sales, and it really got a lot of Fastnet Rock about them. So I was pretty keen to see if we could get a nice filly. This one's out of elusive quality mare, probably underrated mare on the page. She had quite a lot of ability, but she got hurt and we never saw the best of her. I know that she's got a very, very good 2-year-old who's a trial winner that wasn't written in the book yet, and we're very confident this filly will make the grade. She'll go to Trevor Bailey here at the Gold Coast, and she'll be aimed early for the 2-year-old race, and if she's good enough, I think she'll be running in that race next year. And she will be aimed at the Gold Coast in January. And Brian, what have you got to say?
I quite like the look of this horse, Darren. I was doing the Gold Mine pedigree and there's a lot of graded stakes winners of the same sort of pedigree as this horse, like Miss Finland, amongst a few others. And I think if you want to get into a horse, it's a pretty cost-effective price. See, like it's only about 3,000 so a share.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap, and of course the Magic Man's run a special bonus for horses that are raced by All Ladies Syndicate. So it doesn't matter where you finish in the race, the first All Ladies horse home, they collect $325,000. Even if you ran 10th and you're the first All Ladies horse home.
You've got to be in it. Don't you?
You need to be in it. So
you need to be a lady.
I'm sure you're going to speak to your missus when you get home.
Yeah, she's got a little bit of a kibosh on buying the horses at the moment, so that could be a good one to get her into.
Well, that's a wrap for ATB-TV this week. It's good to be back. We're at Kryal Castle. There's plenty of flies here. And until next week, I'm Darren Dance, and this is Mr. Johnson.